Egad! The borders have changed. Hey everybody, I'm DeoGenZ. Welcome back to my Pokemon Crystal walkthrough. While visiting Mahogany Town, be sure to try the Rage Candy Bar, famously named after the Lake of Rage, which we will be going to in this episode. Love unlimited time! But before we do that, we are most certainly going to stock up on Rage Candy Bars. I don't know how many I can... Well, you know what? I'm gonna see. Let's see if there's actually a limit to how much candy he'll give you. Hey, character that I'm playing as now. Didn't my mother ever tell me not to take candy from strangers? I mean, you get that little message that pops up whenever you're not supposed to use an item in an area, like using strength in a building where there's no boulders to move. It says, Professor Oak suggests you don't use this now, or Professor Elm suggests you use this later. It's not wise to use this item here. Why doesn't a little message come up saying, hey kids, in real life, don't talk to strangers and take yummy Rage candy bars, because those turn into rape candy bars, and nobody likes those. Yeah, I was coming really for a gym battle, but I guess sightseeing will have to do. After a lightning speed Pokemon reheal. What happened to the music? Got all shady. Magikarp are just worthless. Gyarados are big money makers. What kind of store is this? A Gyarados store? Slowpoke tail. Oh, we must buy a Slowpoke tail. I've never actually noticed in the game that you could buy one of these. We're gonna have to sell some things in order to make enough buck, but... Wow, what happens when you get a tail? Oh, I know. I'm gonna give it to Slowpoke. He'll know what to do with it. He's on his way to becoming a 9-tailed Slowpoke. No, I don't think I have enough things in my bag to sell for me to get 9 tails, or really 8 tails, to add to his other one, but... a second tail could come in handy. You know, double tail whip. Lower the opponent's defense twice as much as a normal tail whip. Huh? That'd be good. Well, while we're just selling these things, let me tell you how the new format of Crystal walkthrough is happening. Yesterday's video, or not yesterday's video really, but the last video, because these are never uploaded one after another, or rarely so. I'm going to try and change that. But because of that sad upload rate, I have to change how I'm making these borders. And pretty much make it just one continual background throughout the rest of the series, maybe with minor changes here and there, and probably going to do gym borders specifically for the boss battle. And before you get into my actual episode, if you want to pause that new thing that happened in the beginning right after the intro, showing you which Pokemon can be found on the route that we're exploring in that episode, I suggest you do so, take note of what you can find, and just check your team to see if really you're looking for any of those types. See, a big problem was that the guide I was using to make these borders, because I was using a strategy guide, big recommendation there for any LPers in the making. I definitely recommend using strategy guides to help you out and make sure that you give good information. But the guide I had, unfortunately, was packed away in some box, and upon moving, I lost it. So, it's somewhere packed away, safe and sound, and it's the same guide that I used way back when for my original Crystal journeys. And that book is so old to me, it's so antique, and even though I'm agnostic, I'll just say this as a metaphor, it's like a Bible to me. It really was. It still is. I mean... I wish I had a simpler way of scanning these pages, but it's at a point where they're so brittle and they're so delicate that it might just shatter in the process of me closing my printer scanner on them, so meh, not gonna do that. It's right now wrapped up in a large Ziploc baggie. I'm not kidding, this thing, along with my card decks, was the 2 most read books in my youth. Oh no, the Confuse Ray! Oh, and whenever those chicks pop up, let me tell you guys how I was looking at that, because in a previous episode, I mentioned that I thought they were idiotic faces, like you were stupefied by Confuse Ray. If you look at the chick's wings as they're flapping, I didn't even notice they were flapping either. Look at it as if it was the nose to a face. And then the rest of its body, from that point, it looks like it's just got chubby cheeks and a dopey smile on, with one of those squiggly lines over its head to symbolize confusion. That's what I always was under the impression that those... See, there it is. Look. It's not even... It wasn't even over his head. Sorry. I forgot. I was looking at the chick's wings as, like, one beard hair for this goofy Japanese face. That was supposed to represent confusion. Oh, man, what a dolt. But you learn new things every day, and really, I still thought that until this walkthrough, so I have to thank you guys, the viewers, the commenters. And somebody had just commented before on the past video, why doesn't it seem that some people don't comment on my videos? I don't know. And I'd like to let you know, if you do comment, I read it. I don't necessarily respond to all of them, because that would take too long. Plus, I don't want to be spamming my own videos with comments, because, I don't know, I sort of feel as though it's, then I owe everybody an answer. If I start talking to one person, I keep going back, then we get in a conversation, and it starts being like AIM or Skype in the comments section, and that's no good for me. Or anybody else trying to leave a comparable comment. So, do know that if you comment, I'm definitely reading it, but it's just not being responded to. I do take it all into consideration, though. Every last word of it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The trolls and fans alike. Now, if you go up this way, which we won't be doing, trainer tip, here's the tip for you. Don't go north, because there's actually Team Rocket members. Yeah, guys, cat's out of the bag. That sketchy guy who was selling Slowpoke tails and talking about Gyarados as being the big moneymakers around town, they are a part of Team Rocket. Be funny though, right? If Team Aqua suddenly appeared in the game. There's a twist for you. This isn't Crystal, it's a Crystal ROM hack! And Team Aqua's going after all the Magikarp in hopes to get strong Water-type Gyarados. But here's the kicker. Not only is it a ROM hack that changes the story, it's a ROM hack that changes the very dimensions and mechanics of Pokemon, because Team Aqua isn't just satisfied with tough Gyarados. They want genetically modified Gyarados, okay? I'm talking Water Dragon-type Gyarados. They're looking to change the very fabric of its type structure. Can you fathom the power? It would be crazy, and really, I don't think there is a Water Dragon type out there yet. Is there? No. Nope, I don't think so. Unlike my other mistake of dual types back in the 5th generation when I said, oh, there's no fighting in Steel type. Cobalion is definitely the only one. No, Lucario. That's the thing. There becomes hundreds and hundreds of Pokemon, and I've noticed significantly with that 5th generation, I haven't even been putting too much effort into memorizing them all. And I think it's taken me a bit longer to learn all the names, unlike with 4th generation, because I don't have Wi-Fi currently. 4th generation was a snap for me to learn, although I do prefer the 5th over the 4th, interestingly enough, with Pokemon taken here and there. From the 4th generation, I really like the new evolutions they came up with, excuse me, more than the new Pokemon themselves, but the legendaries weren't that bad, and what helped me learn it so well was trading constantly on the global trading service, which was brand new to the DS generation of Pokemon. You know, thinking back, it all started with Fire Red and Leaf Green, making link cables obsolete, having wireless available, and then eventually moving on to the internet with Wi-Fi. It's pretty crazy. I really wonder what's going to be next. Is it going to be a brain chip implanted? You just think for a Pokemon, alright, I need to trade my Pichu here for that Gyarados. How can I make this happen? And then you find some desperate sucker who's looking for a Pichu, and then it organizes the trade, and bam. Wirelessly, without even having to think, your brain chip just traded you Pokemon. Probably unlikely, but what is likely in the future of Pokemon, I could bet you, is definitely holograms. I was talking about that in my Pokemon Prism walkthrough, but that's what I'm most excited for with the future of technology. Just looking at how crazy and fast it expands and is changing year to year, it's only a matter of time. One of the negative things, though, about changing technology, especially in computers, with companies trying to make a buck, is my camcorder that I use to record the black and white booster pack unwrapping videos. For some reason, it does not work. That camcorder does not hook up anymore to my Windows 7 machine. And the funny thing was that it used to do it just fine before I sent it into HP, telling them that it had a problem with the hard drive. So, what could be the issue, I wonder? It's definitely got to be the drivers, because it used to work, now it has different set of drivers having a whole new installed hard drive. So I'm guessing that's what the problem is. A case of planned obsolescence, and yes, we do not have a Pokemon that has Cut with us. I won't sacrifice Quilava's moveset for that. But it works on an XP machine. There's nothing wrong with the camcorder itself. It's funny, you get kind of scolded in a way if you hang on to technology for a really long time that has to talk to other technology. Like in the way of the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Color, I still have my GBA and it's working perfectly. All it needs is a set of new fresh batteries and bam! I'm playing Pokemon Crystal right there. And portable. Not on the emulator for good recording quality. But that's because it doesn't have to hook up and interface with another computer that's constantly changing. But with computers, they always have to update drivers, and they're always trying to force you through planned obsolescence. Man, it's really dry today. I tell you, I gotta turn down the heat, because it is making recording a cottonmouth situation. So, yeah, I don't know why my camcorder's not working on working on my Windows 7, but luckily I do have an XP machine, which is how I extracted that video in the first place. But it's absolutely ridiculous. If you have a piece of technology that's still working from 10 years ago, you should be able to use it with today's tech. I'm sure that there's custom drivers that are made by hardcore nerd fans, hacksaws alike, who have the same idea as me, and they want to use their technology all the time. I love Pokemon, that's why I started. I'll keep collecting. Yeah, little do you know, there's going to be over 600 to collect. After this episode, I'm probably going to go get a drink, because this is ridiculous. Slowbro versus my Prince Dozo. Somebody commented that Prince Dozo evolves at level 37, so how are we facing a Slowbro at level 19? I always wondered that. It's kind of like Falkner back in the Violet City Gym. If you noticed, his Pidgeotto was underleveled for being a Pidgeotto. Off the top of my head, I really don't know what level Pidgey goes into Pidgeotto. I'm not that insane. I'm pretty sure that it evolves into a Pidgeot at level 36 or 5, only because the high 30s are where the third evolution comes in, normally. But for some reason, Falkner had one that was underleveled, but still a Pidgeotto. Yeah, bitch, she got pwned by the Prince Dozo! And we grow one more level closer. Oh, and learning Headbutt. Let's see what we could... No, I don't think Headbutt's worth learning here. I want to keep Curse because it powers up Prince Dozo's defense and attack. Surf is awesomely strong, and it gets us around over bodies of water in the main world. Strength is actually stronger than Headbutt, so I don't really know why we do that. It's exactly the same, just less power. Hey, do you have any rare Pokemon? What if I did? What would you do about it? I remember back in the past facing these guys getting paranoid when they asked me about my Pokemon, like, what Pokemon are you collecting? Because they'd be shady guys wearing purple capes with licka-licka tongues. who tongue you and... Forget it. Never mind, I'm not going down that path. Anyway, I always thought that they were going to try and take your Pokemon if you had a rare one. I thought, damn, they're going to want my starter Pokemon because there's only one of these in the entire world. Or so I thought. But of course, you can choose to repopulate the world with Cyndaquils or whatever your starter may be by cloning it with Ditto. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned the Ditto reproduction cycle in this game, but that whole element of Ditto, it was introduced in 2nd Gen because of breeding. And breeding with the appropriate Pokemon, whether it's a female version of Typhlosion and a male version of Typhlosion, or just a Ditto with about everything, Ditto's the ultimate slut. Yep, the ultimate baby slut, and will have all your children for you, or make all your children for you, all your Pokemon children. And that's pretty important in this game because not only would you want another Cyndaquil, just because it's so cute, and you don't really think Typhlosion is as cuddly anymore, but there are certain Pokemon you can only meet through breeding. These Pokemon are including Smoochum, Tyrogue, which actually was back in Mount Mortar. He's not available right now, but later we'll backtrack probably and go after him. But Tyrogue is a baby Pokemon, Smoochum is a baby evolution of Jinx, Happiny, which is not in this game, but is another example of a baby evolution that was introduced in the 4th Gen. So that was always an awesome mechanic, Ditto breeding. And this, the Red Gyarados of Lake Rage. This was mind-boggling the first time I had to face this guy. Because really at the time I had no idea about types. I thought it could have been a dragon. I thought it could have been easily a water dragon type. That's why I alluded to that earlier in the episode today. But this thing was nuts. I believe that I did save... Yeah, I did... No, actually that was the mistake. I saved in Mahogany Town and defeated this thing the first go at it. I wasn't sure what to do. But then I learned you can restart your game, thankfully. But this thing is nuts. The first shiny Pokemon I ever encountered and also ever captured. Again, I'm sorry for having to clear my throat every 5 seconds, but that's something really cool also about the 2nd generation that was transitioned from the first. Now, with Color, you can have alternate colored Pokemon. People had a concept of what all the colors of Pokemon were because of the anime, the trading cards, the toys, the big Pokemon epidemic boom that was the 1st generation when it first came out. So people had a pretty good idea. Gyarados, generally blue. And then when you would get into this 2nd generation game and you'd face a Gyarados, seeing that it's not red, in fact it's blue, and then you see this? Mind-boggling! How does such a thing happen? I thought it was induced by Team Rocket. I had no idea that all Pokemon had an alternate color scheme for them. It'd be really interesting if in future generations they made it so that there would be sometimes even more color schemes than just one alternate shiny. Although if they were going to do that, then I don't know, I think they would have to up the shiny encounter rate just so people could experience it. Or maybe have like a black Gyarados. So there's the red Gyarados, the blue Gyarados, and now the black Gyarados, influenced by who knows what evil team at the time. But I thought it was Team Rocket's generators doing this. Those freaky deaky frequencies that they're sending out to force the Magikarp into evolution. I thought, wow, this Magikarp evolved so fast, it didn't even have time to evolve its color to blue. It just decided to stay red. That's what I was thinking, but still, this is a shiny, and shinies are awesome. That's why, another reason, Crystal is one of the top games in the franchise, if not the top. It's my personal favorite, but again, I have a humongous bias, so I can't really count that as being viable. But that is a valid capture. We got Gyarados! And thankfully, due to the unlimited time I now have, we didn't even have to fast forward it. That was awesome, guys. Let's add it to the Pokédex. Atrocious. It appears whenever there is conflict in the world, burning down any place it travels through. Maddening. Starts flipping out with that dragon rage that it was using on us. And see, if you were a new Pokemon trainer like me, you too would probably think that this was a Dragon Water type. Because it uses Dragon Rage. It doesn't use Aerial Ace. It doesn't use Fly. Where do you get flying from? I don't know. Oh, Dana, what now? Don't you see there's a cool guy with a cape here who doesn't look as shady and suspicious as the guys with the purple cape who wanted to take my rare Pokemon? Leave me alone. Unless you got some Thunderstones, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. This lake is full of Gyarados, but nothing else. So the Magikarp are being forced to evolve. Did you come here because of the rumors? You're DeoGenZ. I'm Lance, a trainer like you. How'd you know my name? I heard some rumors, so I came to investigate. You hear rumors about my name too? I saw the way that you battled earlier, DeoGenZ. I can tell that you're a trainer with considerable skill. If you don't mind, could you help me investigate? Sure. Excellent. It seems that the lake's Magikarp are being forced to evolve. A mysterious radio broadcast coming from Mahogany is the cause. Oops, I told you that before we knew it. Oh well, spoilers about 5 seconds before it happened.